Welcome back to our channel, Tour Finance Manager. I'm Emma, and today we're diving into something a lot of us live out without ever noticing it.
POV. Your parents were broke, so you chase money instead of purpose.
Let's start the video. If you grew up watching your parents count coins at the kitchen table, I need you to ask yourself, are you building a life, or are you just running from being poor again? Meet Marcus. This is a memory he's carried for 20 years. He's 8 years old. We're $70 short again, Robert. I don't know what else to cut. That kind of night doesn't just end when the lights go off. It writes a rule into a kid's mind. One Marcus never chose and never questioned.
The rule was simple. Money equals safety. And the only way to be safe was to never, ever run out.
So young Marcus started counting too. His allowance, his birthday money, anything he could hold on to so the fear in that kitchen would never be his. Psychologists call this a scarcity mindset calm, and it doesn't stay in childhood. It grows up right alongside you, just in a nicer suit.
It shows up as working through the flu, as flinching every time a card gets declined, even when the balance is fine.
Marcus watched his dad take a second job the year he turned 10. He never once heard him talk about liking it. Now fast forward. Marcus isn't 8 anymore, Fen. He's 17. And that same rule is about to steer every decision he makes.
17-year-old Marcus takes his first job at a grocery store pard, not for spending money, but because an empty savings account made his chest feel tight. He turns down a spot on the school music program, the one thing that ever made him lose track of time, because it doesn't pay.
Can't. Need the hours.
He didn't know it yet, but he'd just made the first of 100 trades code, purpose, for the promise of never feeling that scared again.
And trades like that? They compound a lot faster than interest ever does.
By 19, Marcus had a plan, call, and it had nothing to do with what he loved. He loved music Thai, really loved it. But when it came time to pick a college major, he crossed it off the list before he even sat down.
Music doesn't pay rent. Finance does. It's not that deep.
First job, first paycheck, first real taste of control. And for a while, Paddle, it actually worked.
Marcus opens his first paycheck at his cubicle, and for the first time in his life, he doesn't feel that tightness in his chest. So he chases the next milestone, and the next. A promotion, a corner desk, a title with senior in front of it.
Every yes felt like proof he'd never be that kid on the stairs again. But nobody was keeping score of what he was giving up to get there.
A new car in the driveway, a bigger apartment downtown. Every purchase a receipt proving he'd made it.
We're so proud of you, sweetheart. When are you coming home to visit?
Soon, Mom. Gotta run. Talk later.
Okay, honey. Be safe.
Soon, Mom. I promise pay. Things are just really busy right now.
Soon became his most repeated word. Not because he didn't love them calm, but because the version of success he was chasing didn't leave room for anything else.
Two years in, Marcus gets the promotion he'd been chasing since his first day. Regional director. The corner office, finally.
Regional director. I did it.
Notice what's missing from that moment. No one to call, no one in the room. Just the title he'd been promised would finally make him feel safe. He'd built the life the 8-year-old on the stairs always dreamed of. So why did it feel exactly the same? By 26, Marcus had everything the version of him on those apartment stairs could have asked for.
A high-floor apartment with a skyline view, a closet of tailored suits, a savings account that had long stopped being the problem.
By every number that used to matter to him, Marcus had won. So why is he standing in his kitchen at midnight, wide awake, and not sure why?
He opens his banking app out of habit, not need. The number is higher than it's ever been. It doesn't move anything in his chest anymore.
This is what psychologists call the arrival fallacy, the belief that reaching the goal will finally make you feel okay.
So Marcus does what he's always done when a feeling gets uncomfortable. Mean putty. He goes looking for the next number to chase.
He hasn't had a real dinner with a friend in months. Every relationship in his life has quietly become a calendar invite.
He tells himself it's temporary, that once this next deal closes, he'll finally slow down.
He'd been telling himself that for 3 years. The finish line kept moving because it was never really about the finish line.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Robert.
Happy birthday to you. I'll call him after. It's fine, he'll understand.
He didn't call after. The deal ran late, then dinner ran late, then it was too late to call at all.
This is the part of the story a lot of us recognize a little too well. Not a dramatic collapse, just 100 small absences, adding up.
The next morning, Marcus finally calls his dad back. It rings twice, then his mother answers instead Dode, and her voice is wrong.
Hello? Marcus Pato. It's your dad. We're at the hospital. You need to come home.
Robert had a heart episode overnight, stable but serious. And Marcus is suddenly standing in his kitchen, phone in hand, realizing how far away he really is.
Everything Marcus had spent a decade building suddenly felt very far away from the one thing that actually mattered.
He booked the first flight home. For the first time in years, work wasn't even a question.
Marcus lands and goes straight from the airport to the hospital, still in yesterday's clothes.
He finds his mother alone in the waiting room, a paper cup of cold coffee untouched in her hands.
You came. He's stable, he's gonna be okay, they think.
A nurse leads them down the hall. Marcus counts his own footsteps, just to have something to hold on to.
And then Marcus sees him code. His dad, the man who never once complained, hooked up to monitors, looking small in a way Marcus has never seen.
There he is. Flew all this way just to see your old man in a silly gown, huh? I should have been here already. I should have called you back.
And then Robert says something Marcus has never heard him say out loud before.
So you'd never have to feel what I felt as a kid. But somewhere along the way, I think I just taught you to be scared the same way I was. I never once asked you what you actually wanted. I just made sure you'd never go hungry. I didn't know those were different jobs.
Marcus didn't have an answer for him in that moment. He realized he wasn't even sure what he actually wanted anymore, only what he'd been running from. That night, Marcus sits alone in the hospital courtyard, phone in his pocket, untouched for the first time in longer than he can remember. For the first time in years, the silence didn't feel like something to fix with another notification.
When did I stop asking myself what I actually wanted?
That question doesn't have an easy answer. But asking it at all was the first real crack in a belief system Marcus had carried since he was 8 years old.
The next morning, walking to get coffee near the hospital, Marcus runs into someone he hasn't seen in almost a decade.
Marcus? Oh my gosh, Vi, it's been forever. What are you doing back in town?
Olivia, wow, I just moved back. This is incredible.
Marcus didn't know it yet, but this coffee shop coincidence was about to hand him a version of success he hadn't even considered was possible.
Olivia Cora, wow. My dad had a health scare. I flew back to be with him. You look
Really good.
really happy.
It's so good to see you, Marcus. I'm happy. I left the agency about 3 years ago. I run a small art studio for kids on the east side now. Doesn't pay what I used to make, but I sleep like a rock. Same starting line as Marcus, roughly. A steady paycheck, a title that looked good on paper. Olivia just made a different trade.
Wasn't it terrifying, though? Just walking away from the salary? It was. But I had to.
Terrifying, yeah. I still keep an emergency fund like my life depends on it, though, because it kinda does. I didn't abandon being smart with money. I just stopped letting it be the only thing I was chasing.
That distinction matters more than people think. Purpose without any financial plan is just a different kind of risk. Money without purpose is just a very well-funded emptiness.
Can I ask, Hyde, when's the last time you did something just because you loved doing it? Not because it looked good, not because it paid.
Music. I used to write music. I haven't touched a keyboard in, I honestly don't know how long.
Remember that notebook he pushed to the edge of the desk at 19? It had been waiting this whole time.
I never once asked you what you actually wanted. I just made sure you'd never go hungry. I didn't know those were different jobs.
So don't quit anything. Just play for 20 minutes this week. See how it feels before you decide it means anything.
20 minutes. I think I can manage 20 minutes.
Small, doable, and low stakes. That's usually what actually breaks a pattern. Not a dramatic overhaul, but one honest 20 minutes.
That night, back at his parents' house, Marcus finds something in the hallway closet he'd forgotten even existed.
He sets it up on the kitchen table where his parents used to spread out unpaid bills. It feels strange, and then it doesn't.
The first notes are clumsy. He hasn't played in years. But for 20 minutes, Marcus isn't thinking about numbers at all.
I haven't heard you play since you were 17.
20 minutes didn't fix everything. But it was the first honest thing Marcus had done for himself in over a decade.
The next morning, Marcus does something he hasn't done in years, a bag. He sits down with his mother, just to talk, with nowhere else to be.
Mom, can I ask you something about back then? About the money stuff, when I was a kid.
Of course, sweetheart. It's been a long time since anyone asked me about those years.
Linda tells him about growing up the youngest of 6, about a father who lost the family hardware store when she was 12.
I promised myself my kids would never lie awake doing math in their heads the way I did. I didn't realize I'd just handed you a different kind of worry instead.
You gave me a lot more than you think you did, Mom. I just built the wrong lesson out of it on my own.
This is generational money trauma here, and it's rarely anyone's fault. Parents pass down whatever kept them safe. It's up to the next generation to notice what it costs.
That afternoon, Robert is discharged from the hospital team, cleared to rest at home, under strict orders to actually slow down.
Doctor says I need to cut back on stress. First time in 30 years somebody's told me to do less instead of more.
Yeah, I think I might need to hear that too.
Robert chuckles, and for the first time in the whole story, father and son just sit together, not fixing anything, not chasing anything, just sitting.
Marcus starts noticing the difference between the fear he inherited and an actual plan of his own.
Under old rule, he writes, never stop, never feel safe, the number is never enough. Under new rule, he sits for a long moment before writing anything at all.
New rule. Build something that would still feel worth it, even if no one was keeping score.
That single sentence didn't undo 20 years of habit overnight. But it gave Marcus something the 8-year-old on the stairs never had.
That evening, the three of them eat dinner together at the same kitchen table.
No bills spread across it, no laptop open beside the plates.
Just dinner. To slowing down. Both of us, apparently.
A toast to slowing down. Not to giving up on ambition, Bon. Just to finally choosing it, instead of being chased by it. 3 weeks later, Marcus flies back to the city Tarn. But he doesn't go back to exactly the same life.
First thing Monday morning, Marcus does something that would have been unthinkable to him a month earlier. Again, he blocks off his calendar.
Can't do the 6 o'clock sync anymore, Frey. That block's mine now. 9 works, though.
A few weeks in, Marcus starts something small on the side, a town. Free evening piano lessons for kids at the community center near his building.
All right, who wants to learn where middle C is?
Notice Marcus didn't quit his job to do this. He didn't torch the stability he'd spent a decade building. He just stopped treating it as the only thing allowed to matter.
He still checks his portfolio. He still contributes to his retirement account every single month, on schedule, without fail.
He and Olivia start grabbing coffee every couple of weeks. Not networking, just two people who finally understand the same thing about money.
Look at you. Free piano lessons and an actual lunch break. Who even are you?
Still figuring that part out. But I like him better than the guy who used to skip his dad's birthday for a deal.
He wasn't a different person. He was just finally the version of himself that scared 8-year-old had been waiting for. Marcus calls his dad every Sunday now, Hein. Not out of guilt, but because he actually wants to hear about Robert's slower, quieter days.
Garden's coming along. Your mother says I'm insufferable about the tomatoes now.
The rule Marcus wrote on that porch notepad was finally becoming real. One ordinary Sunday call at a time.
6 months later, Marcus's little community piano group has outgrown the small room folk. Olivia offers him space at her studio instead.
Music and art, same building. Tell me that's not exactly where 19-year-old you should have ended up. Marcus laughs, and for the first time in this whole story, he doesn't have a comeback about needing the hours. He just says,
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Marcus didn't become poor to find purpose. He didn't abandon the financial discipline that got him this far, either. He just stopped letting fear write the whole story.
He still has a retirement account growing quietly in the background. He still checks in on his investments once a month, calm instead of anxious.
And he still flies home, Mikhail. Not out of guilt anymore, but because Sunday dinners with his parents are simply where he wants to be.
I used to think being here less was proof I'd made it. Now I think being here more is what actually making it looks like.
That's the whole shift, really. Not less ambition. Just ambition finally pointed at something that actually feels like his.
To doing less of what scares us and more of what actually matters.
Somewhere in a drawer, that old notepad from the porch is still there, new rule filled in, and finally, actually lived.
If any part of Marcus's story felt familiar, the counting, the chasing, the soon that never quite arrives I want to say this directly to you. You don't have to blow up your life to change the ending. You just have to ask yourself the same question Olivia asked Marcus. What would you do this week, just because you loved it?
Thank you so much for watching this whole story with me today. Elf it means a lot to have you here.
If this one hit home, hit that like button, drop a comment telling me your story, Ty. I read every single one, Pive, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.
One last look at Marcus Tanone, a year on from that coffer shop coincidence, teaching a new kid his very first chord.
That's it, hey, you got it. That right there is a C major chord.
Somewhere else in the city, an 8-year-old Hispanic boy is sitting on some stairs of their own, listening to something happening behind a closed.
None of us get to pick the kitchen table we grew up around, but every single one of us gets to decide what we build at the next one.
I'll see you in the next one. Yeah, time.